Hello and welcome to the Engineers Day, and we are in the segment Code It Simple. So we have Sunil Dole sir with us, and he's a huge personality and great personality, and a personality with patience because we know that we've taken a lot of time to set up our equipment. Uh, Before that, I would just like to explain you what is Code It Simple.
Okay.
So, as we all know, the entire world is running, and the moment we give, moment the child is out of
Yeah.
her mother's womb, the
Yeah.
race starts.
Yeah.
But in all this chaos, we want to give a message that keep it simple, keep it everything to yourself, calm and steady, like you are, and I've
Thank you.
experienced that you're very calm and simple, and move ahead with your world. Before moving on to anything, I would just like our audience to know who you really are.
Yeah.
First of all, people dream of going to IIT, he's done it. But the double whammy is people dream of going to IIT Kanpur, and you've done that as well. So please give us your brief introduction.
Yeah. Uh, Thank you, Avnish, for lots of kind words. I'm a hardcore Vidarbhian. Was born in Akola district. So somehow I managed to complete my education, and then I entered into chemical engineering. So then I could crack one of the competitive exams, conducted by IIT, which is GATE, Graduate Aptitude Test for Engineering. So that I could crack or get a good All India rank in my final year itself. So that's how I entered into IIT Kanpur, and then I, of course, completed my chemical engineering there. And then after my masters, uh, subsequently I got an opportunity to do my PhD at the same place. So I completed my PhD in chemical engineering, and then after that, I always, coming from the very humble background or rural background, I always wanted to go to uh, you know foreign.
Yeah.
So I used to fancy sitting in an aeroplane and all those things. So I got a chance to go to Europe, to join a postdoctoral thesis. So I was in Europe for a couple of years. So generally what is talked about IITians is that you whenever you talk about IITians, people say that IITians mostly go to US, Canada, or Europe, and they settle there. I think lot of my batchmates also went to different places in Europe, US, Canada. But the major difference in the other candidates and me was that I came back. I came back. So
So you can continue.
so that was the, I think, major moment in my life, because seeing India at the really grassroots level. I always wanted to contribute to this society, or for the to the people, those who have sacrificed for me to be where I am today.
I think this is a very important.
Yeah, so that made me to decide to come back, and then I came back. I joined Reliance as a senior scientist. I worked there for around 3 years, and very hugely inspired by Dhirubhai Ambani, the way he built the Reliance empire.
Yes, yes.
So I was very much inspired by him, and then decided to start my own journey of entrepreneurship, and that's how I started my first company, which is called Techno Orbital Advanced Materials Private Limited. So Techno Orbital basically focuses on manufacturing one specialty polymer, which is invented by us, and using the same polymer, we invented membranes for water purification. So that project was done with the National Chemical Laboratory, one of the CSIR labs in Pune. So there the focus was, can we serve most of the Indian population with the with the technological solution with the cheapest possible way for the water purification. Because right now the major load on even Indian government is because of the the diseases caused because of the impure water. Okay. So I mean, you'll be amazed to know that just because of the diarrhea, the load on Indian government per year is around 60,000 crores. Okay. So, I that is what prompted us to come up with the technology or with the membrane which can purify water without the need of electricity. That's how we came up with that invention. And then, to cut a long story short, we patched up with Tata, and then now you can see our product through the household water purifier of Tata, which is known as Tata Swachh.
Yeah.
Most of the people know it. So that is for household. So similarly, we have a product for community like school, college, villages. So we are serving so many remote villages right now. So altogether, through Techno Orbital, through our different membrane solutions for water purification, right now we are serving around 3 million people per day. So that is 30 lakhs people per day we are serving through our different water purifiers. Second thing I am part of is called eSpin Nanotech company, which is again a startup or was incubated at IIT Kanpur, and was primarily started by my partner Dr. Sandeep Patil. So that's his baby. I am a very really small part of it. So there we do nanotechnology based things, and right now the very famous product of eSpin is N95 grade mask, face mask. The brand name is Swasa. So it has become the number one brand in India right now for the for the face mask. And the good part is that our Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, over it a whole day during the Bhumi Pujan in Ayodhya last month. So many other big shots also wore it, and they are still wearing it. So that we sold around 1 crore pieces in last 2-3 months. Then third thing I'm part of is Chemdist Membrane Systems, formerly known as YCS Technologies. So there we are, doing projects for, again, it is related to water treatment or wastewater recovery or treatment or industrial water recovery. So there we do the big industrial projects for the wastewater recovery or how to make money out of wastewater. So, and then there is one more company I'm part of, which is still a very, in infant stage. It is again incubated at IIT Kanpur. It is called Indima Fibers Private Limited. So in this company, we will be focusing on fibers for the bulletproof jackets. So this is what all I do.
That's it, sir.
That's it. Yeah.
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 I think the membrane technology. I was actually reading about it, and it was fascinating because it is actually a greener option.
Yeah.
Because it consumes about no energy, like you said, that it
Yeah.
requires no electricity
Yeah.
for purification. Plus, it is sort of reusing the water, which
Yeah.
solving the two major problems right now: energy crisis and freshwater crisis.
Yeah.
So I think. How would you describe arriving to this? Because engineers are problem solvers. We
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah.
And you are actually taking two of the most important problems and solving it with membrane. Can you just tell us more about it?
Yeah, actually, the very cause for entering into this is basically my background. The way I was, born and brought up, or what I have seen in my childhood. Like I have literally seen people dying because of drinking bad water, and unfortunately that is still a reality in India. So what I still have a childhood memories of those hand pump. Every village has a hand pump, and the good part about hand pump is it is one of the most successful community project in Indian scenario. Why? Because it doesn't need electricity. There is no technical person involved to operate it, and there are no maintenance issues. So that was basically my motivation. So I thought, okay, I knew that drinking water or pure water is an issue, but in remote areas we don't have electricity. There's no technical person can go and run the unit or say whatever technical solution. And third thing is of course a maintenance. Who will go in the remote areas and all that? So that was our motivation. So that was the reason we wanted to come up with a solution which kind of works without electricity. It's very simple to operate, no need of say maintenance or any technical person to operate, and has a long life. Okay, so that was the basic reason we all started this. And now how we arrived it, so that is what I studied, and that is basically I'm trained for that. Okay, so one of my partner in Techno Orbital, Dr. Shri Kumar Vedu, so he's basically from Kerala, but we all are together in Kanpur. So he invented this polymer, okay, and then we kind of kept modifying the chemistry of that polymer so that technically speaking, we made that polymer in such a manner so that it kind of attracts water. Okay, it is more hydrophilic. So it attracts water and filters water. That's why you don't need very high pressure to purify the water or kind of push that water through the membrane. So we did some chemical or chemistry changes in the polymer, and then that polymer was converted into the membrane. So that membrane part we associated with the National Chemical Laboratory, CSIR Lab Pune. So they help because they have the experience on membranes. So they helped us to convert that polymer into the membranes. Okay, and that's how we came up with this product. So of course it took us like 4 or 5 years. But it is just now taking me maybe 3 4 minutes to tell you how it happened. But that was
the videos are always shorter than the text.
Yeah. So yes.
So I think it's really fascinating, and now going straight to the point. So we are doing this for the new upcoming engineers.
Yeah.
I think I actually read it. I think in 2016 there was a report that only about 5% engineers were being produced after their BE and MTech ME. So only 5% were actually employable.
Yeah.
So what does that survey actually mean? Are they not taught that well, or are they not I think maybe compatible to the industry standards?
See, actually,
and just one thing that has anything changed in the last 4 years now?
Yeah. See, now this is a very, I would say, very
sort of a controversial,
or I would say dark question. Because we cannot find an answer in the engineer who is unemployable.
Yes.
Okay. The answers are also lied in the society. Okay. Because the way Indian society is pushing their children to pursue only 2 3 streams of career, like engineering, medical, and that's it. Okay, that is one of the reasons. Second thing, of course, is numerous amount of engineering colleges. Okay, now the thing is, but since in last 4 5 years, AICT has started, they also noticed this, and now around, I think every year, around maybe 100 or more than 100 engineering colleges, they are shutting down.
Yes, yes.
Because of course people are also not opting for it. Okay, so that is how I think that report in, I don't know, McKinsey or some company that in 2016 that came up with that report. But on paper it may be true. Okay, on paper it may be true that okay, I did say chemical engineering, but I did not get a job suiting my skills. But the point is, maybe the person who did not get a job as a chemical engineer may be doing something else which is good. Okay, or maybe he's employable somewhere.
Yeah.
When we say they are not employable, my primary hunch is that all the companies who are doing these surveys, they are just trying to match what you academically learned and did you get job related to that. Okay, so he maybe that student is not employable in the field from which he is graduated, like chemical engineer or civil engineer, but maybe he is highly employable somewhere else.
Yes.
Okay, we don't know that. So this question has no answer, and if only 6 or 7 or 5% are employable, then how come such a big economy like India? It is one of the best or biggest economy in India. How come it is doing well in engineering? Right?
Yes, exactly.
So it's a very difficult question to answer, or rather than saying difficult question to answer, there are no simple answers to this. This is very difficult to quantify, basically.
Yeah. So I asked this because I was actually arriving at a much recent question. Is that now due to the COVID pandemic?
Yeah.
Now many engineers wanted to do sort of masters in USA, Canada.
Yeah.
And I think computer engineering students actually a lot of them are now thinking about going there.
Okay.
But for the engineers who want to study here and want to work here, like how what kind of advice would you give them in this COVID situation? How to approach maybe during doing engineering and after it?
Yeah, I think it's a very good question. So, the very first thing I would like to address here is on COVID. Okay. General tendency right now, as far as COVID is concerned, is to get panic. Okay.
Yes.
So now is the time, maybe God or nature, whoever it is, it wanted us to slow down a bit, okay, take some rest and do some introspection about ourselves. So this is not a time to kind of get panicked about what my future will be like or what should I do. Right now the prime focus should be to survive.
Yes.
Okay, like physical survival also, and for businesses also to survive. Okay, now we should not focus on like okay, I want to do this, that, I want to earn more money. That's not the time right now. Right now the time is to survive. Okay, now as far as the students who are willing to go out or staying inside, it is there are 2-3 different aspects to this. There are many students who wants to go out and settle out.
Yes.
Okay. So
more than a fair share.
Yeah. So it is their personal choice. But for a person like me, if you are willing to go out, I would highly recommend you to go out so that you come across a different culture, you learn lot many new things. But you should come back. Okay.
Yes.
To implement whatever you learn. We talk about the developed nations like the European economy or US or Canada. So it is the best idea is to go there, get your education done, learn the culture, learn why they are a developed country and why we are a developing country. Yeah, you come to know that difference once you go there. Okay, but you should definitely plan to come back because this country has huge potential. It has a huge potential, and I am a living example of that. I came back without any, financial background from the family. I could still start 4 companies. Okay, so it has that kind of, potential. So if it is true for me, a person like me who has come from village, it can do wonders to the people or the students who are growing up in a relatively better environment, right? So, and the other thing is, when we talk about unemployment also, so this is also one of the best ways to kill unemployment. Like, see, the most of the, I go to different IITs and places to talk about entrepreneurship, and there I tell people that I was never unemployed because I was an entrepreneur. So even basically entrepreneur is always unemployed, right? So, but the good part is that now putting together all the companies, at least I have given job to maybe 150 people as of now, 150 different, engineers or workers or, accountants and admin people. So if a person like me who can generate that amount of employment, so even if out of 100 students, one person is starting his own company or enterprise, so that can make a huge potential. And the good part about India is that the whole economy is open right now. I mean, whole possibilities are open. Whether it is water, whether it is air, whether it is energy, auto sector, even the mobile services, because the business is related to the population.
Yes.
And we are abundant in that. So okay, and of course we are a developing country. So whether you take the infrastructure or any sector you take, we have huge possibilities.
Huge.
Okay, of course software is there, it has been there since many years, but all these new sectors have a huge possibility. So I think there is no need to get panic about anything. You want to go abroad and get some degrees, you should definitely do that, but I personally feel you should come back and make this country like a developed country.
Yeah, I think wow, that two great messages. First is the future holds, like the future is full of possibilities.
Yeah.
So please don't panic. And the second is do whatever you want, study out there. And I think that holds true for many people who come and study in these cities like Pune, Mumbai.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I think they should also think about someday going back to their village and actually trying to improve them like you are doing, like with your memory system.
Yeah.
And yes, you talked about you are an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You have contributed to 4 huge companies, and I think entrepreneurship is kind of growing in India. I can sense that people want to sort of go out there and start their own business. And at least in my sector, which I studied, the IT sector, people are going there. So and even of course in other fields as well.
Yeah.
So again, I asked for your advices because I think your introduction actually tells us a lot about what you have done. So that's why I asked you for advice for young startups, like how do they grow again in this situation as well, in the COVID situation, which you have said obviously it's full of possibility.
Yeah, actually it's a very good question. See, when I started, it was relatively difficult to start a company and build something from the scratch. So I fortunately got very great friends or partners who believed in me and my other partner and who invested a lot of money. I was very fortunate. But now it has become very simpler because government has also recognized it, and all the research institutes in India, all the IITs, okay, all the CSIR labs, so they all have started this concept called incubation center. So if you have an idea, so you can go to them, you can pitch your idea, you can make a presentation, and if it is a good idea, if they think, if you can convince them that you can make business out of it, So they support you.
Mm.
You get a place, you get a team, you get infrastructure and all that. So now it has become very simple. And I think this is the best time to risk.
Mm.
Okay, this is the best time to risk, by starting your own enterprise. And for people like you, very young, like when I started, I was also maybe a little bit more than your age, but now I don't know how much old I am. So,
You
but
look about 21, 22.
yeah, okay. so now this is the right time for you people to explore new things, because even if you see, the good part about entrepreneurship is you never fail. Okay, most of my companies, we started it for something else. Okay, and we ended up having multiple opportunities. Okay, so the biggest message I learned through entrepreneurship is that you never fail. Actually, it is all about experience. You might you might fail in a job. Okay, but entrepreneurship, you never fail, because always some or other thing leads to some or other good thing.
The key is to go.
Yeah, so the very I would say single line message, if I want to convince you to be an entrepreneur, is that you should focus on the service part. Right, service part in the sense, what do I want to do? Okay, my service part was, I want to serve maybe 100 crore people per day in India with the simplest drinking water solution. Okay, so that was the service passion. That is what I want to do. So that gives me purpose. Once my service is clear, this is what I want to do. Okay, I want to give people maybe a thing which gives them a clean air without any dust, pollution, or virus or corona. I want to give them water without any impurities, virus, bacteria, whatever causes their disease. I want to give them the purest water. So that is the service I want to offer. Once that service part is clear, then your purpose is clear. And once the purpose is clear, rest is history. I mean, you get the right, right quality of people with you, and all that. The only, the thing with entrepreneur in the beginning is that it's a lonely fight.
Yes.
It's a lonely fight, and you should know that from the beginning, that you alone are going to fight it. And you should not expect even your family, because it's a different frame of mind. They don't understand. Nobody understands what is going on in your mind. And if you believe something, you should strongly believe in it. So whatever, a strong consultant or experienced person, if he is telling you otherwise, you should still not believe that. Okay, because it is still your dream.
Yes.
Okay, that's why God gave you a different shape, different skin. There are, like, billions of people in the world, but still nobody looks similar to the other person.
Yes.
Okay, so that is the purpose. So you should believe in your service. So that gives you purpose, and the purpose makes you big. Yeah.
And I think your idea actually goes with our idea and our series, Coded Simple.
Yeah.
Like, your dream wasn't something, maybe probably people think about, if you are going to go and if you want to create a product, it
Yeah.
needs to be something completely unique.
Yeah.
Probably that is not the case. Your vision was, or your dream was, I want to give everyone clean water.
Yeah.
So it's the simplest of dreams.
Yeah.
And for that, it's actually the membrane technology
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the polymer technology. So
It's the simplest dream, but now I'll talk like a businessman. So you have the huge business possibility in the simplest things. Okay, you take it. As I said, I am a huge, got inspired hugely by Dhirubhai Ambani. So his motto was, whatever business he wants to start, it has to be roti kapda makan. It has to be related roti kapda makan. So that is the very basic need of the human being, human race, right? So, and they are still doing that now. In that roti kapda makan, the mobile phone has become a part of that.
Yes.
So that's why the geo kind of came into the picture, right? So that is what it is. Like you, if you focus on simple things, you have huge opportunities, whether it is air, energy, or water. Okay.
Yes.
So that is the motto basically.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
We're coming to an end of
Yeah.
our interview. I think it's been a great time so far, but
Thank
we do have a few questions more.
Yeah.
Moving on a little bit towards the engineering again.
Yeah.
So even I have experienced it, and probably you may also have experienced it in your days.
Yeah.
That marks are probably given a lot, like huge importance in
Yeah.
how much marks do you get. So I'm not saying that you get about, like, even if you fail sometimes, you
Yeah.
still think that yeah, I'm capable. If you are, maybe my point of view is,
Yeah.
if you think you are capable, what you can do is at least get some average marks.
Yeah.
Like, no one can just say that I'm brilliant, but I just can't
Yeah.
pass some exam.
Yeah.
So the question is, how much do marks matter
Yeah.
in terms of going forward in your future?
Yeah.
And just compare a little bit to about what in your days and
Yeah.
to these days.
Yeah, very good question again. See, actually, my personal view on this is again very simple. If you are doing what you like, you will always get good marks. Okay, that is very simple. If I'm liking it, I will do that with the full heart, right? There is no question of that. So, if you're in the field which you are liking, so no question of marks at all. You will get a good marks. But even though, as I said, India is a huge country, population wise.
Yeah.
So like there is no competition like mild competition like it is in Europe or US. For one post maybe 10 people are fighting. Here for one single position maybe 100 people are fighting. So to have that extra edge, of course you need to have some better performance.
So
Okay,
it's one thing out of your repertoire.
it is one thing out of the total package. But the point is, the marks are important because when you explore the first job, there is nothing else you can be evaluated based on. That is the only thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if like in my different companies, I get around maybe 10, 20 applications every day. I don't know these people personally. The only criteria I have is, okay, who is having a better academic scores. Okay, so that is the practicality of it.
Yeah.
Okay, but at the same time, if you are not getting good marks purposely, I mean, and you know that you are good at something else or in the same field, but you just don't bother about exams. Okay, but you know that what you want to do with your life. So I would say those people who are very sure that what they want to with their life, they should not bother with the marks. Okay, those are like, you are absolutely clear that this is what I will be doing. Okay, I'll have my, like you have your YouTube channel, you will have your television channel, maybe you will have your Netflix program in the future. If you are damn clear about it, you will never bother about the exams. Okay.
Yes.
So, but those who are not very sure that what I want to do, I would strongly recommend them to study well. Okay, at least be good at that first criteria, and once you enter into a job, then after that it doesn't make any sense. Okay, then after that it is only your contribution which matters. Like if you are into say engineering company or any company for that matter. So the only way I judge my people right now is how much contribution he is making, how much orders or business he is bringing to the company. I never, once the person joins, we never discuss about the his scores in 10th, 12th or engineering. Nobody cares. We only measure people based on the business they bring to the company. Yeah.
Wow, I think that was the most realistic answer
Yeah.
anyone could give, and I'm not just saying
Yeah.
because like I was listening and oh my god, that is the most realistic
Yeah.
anyone has given me
Yeah.
that sort of answer. So yeah, so now just before ending, we have some rapid fire questions.
Okay.
So it's not like coffee with Karan
Okay.
and no hamper as well.
Okay.
But just to ask you, I asked few engineers about what they wanted to ask you.
Okay.
And first question from that was how to be goal oriented and how to whether to set goals stage wise or whether to set higher goals and then move towards it. So what should we do once we are in this in the working world?
Actually, I personally, I never kind of cared about the goal part. Okay. For me, as I said, I was very clear what is it I want to do. Like, this is what I want to serve. Okay. As I right now we are serving 30 lakh people per day through the purifier. Our goal for next 5 years is like serve 10 crore people per day. Okay. That's the long term goal. That's so as far as the goal is concerned, my service goal is fixed. Okay. How to take it stepwise, maybe I'm very poor in that, but the way I tackle, or I get involved in all the projects, all the companies is that I just take it day wise.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
What see at the see the most is little bit philosophical, but I'll try to tell
so
it.
you're allowed to do that.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm a doctor of philosophy. So see there are most of the people will always find reasons to get offended. Okay, this is not good, that is not good, this report is bad, that this weather is bad, and my approach is at a given point of time you always have at least 10 good things to do. Okay, that's it. It is as simple as that. I just do it. Okay, I just do it day wise. Like in the my morning is like very kind of foggy in the mind. So because so many things happening in the mind, and then I just decide that okay, this is the priority today, and this is what I should do, not for tomorrow. Okay, and I just try to finish that by evening. So it used to be evening, I mean, few years back. Now it is like late night and all that. So, but I just live in daily basis. Like don't think of much ahead. But if you dedicate yourself 100%, if your goals in terms of service are clear, you will end up doing something good. That is for sure. You should be genuine with yourself. Not with. I'm not trying to tell that you should be very genuine or true to
Honest.
this or that or honest. You should be genuine, honest, and true with your own self. Then you can progress.
The next question is personal growth as important as our professional growth? And if yes, how do we do that?
See, it's actually there is personally for me there is no personal or professional growth. Okay, what I do is all personal. What I mean, I am so much involved in my projects, all the companies, all the products. It's like when people I discuss water with people. So generally I tell people that I can talk to water. Okay, I just taste the water and tell people this is the problem. This is the TDS or this is the problem with your water. So it has become the professional thing has become a part of my personal life now. So I don't see it that way. If you are clear what you want to do, and if you are involved in your work, your professional personal growth happens. It happens automatically. Nobody cares. If you are dedicated, if I see like Avnish is doing his job like 20 out of 24 hours, he's working for 26 hours. I would not care about your personal growth, and like you already are making a statement.
Yes.
by dedicating your life, right, to it, by dedicating your body to it. So if you are focused, you are dedicated, and as I said, honest, true, and genuine with yourself, your personal growth automatically happens. That glow automatically will come, you know. So,
Yeah, so the last two questions. This
Yeah.
is probably a weird question, but at what age should I tell someone to pursue engineering? Like after what age or after what position I gain, I can actually advise someone to take up engineering.
no, engineering in the sense like
Any sort of like chemical engineering or computer engineering or mechanical.
no, but that is after 12th only, right?
Yeah, like if someone is at some position, like if he's a developer
Yeah.
for about so after what time can he actually advise someone to take up engineering, like after working 5 years, after working 10 years? So this is sort of probably, or if someone comes to you
Yeah.
and you're still about maybe probably after first year after you pass out from IIT.
Yeah.
So would you then advise someone to take up engineering, or would you advise it right now?
See, it's really people do come to me, of course, but I don't tell them anything. Actually, it is because nobody told me anything. Okay, so it is up to you to decide. You know, as I said, you know, before, it is your life basically. As I said, you are unique. Like there are 6-7 billion people in the world, and nobody looks similar to any other person. So you have some service to do, some purpose, you know, on this planet. So you will realize it. You will realize it yourself. The only thing is, whatever you are doing right now, just do it genuinely. Be involved in that. After some time, maybe you'll come to know this is not what I want. Maybe something else. But while doing that, you will come across something which you like. Okay. So it will be very, I would say, stupid of me to tell someone that okay, do this, do that, because it is their life, right? It is your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last to end it all.
Yeah.
What is your message to the young engineers who are watching us right now?
Yeah, I think since it is for engineers, I would like to answer this question in engineering terms only.
Okay.
So, see, entrepreneurship or life is like a Newton's laws of motion. Okay. The first law is you need to have a force to move something. So find that force, then only you will be moved.
Yes.
Second law is force is equal to mass into acceleration. So once you have your force, okay, to get the acceleration, you need to accumulate mass. So mass is your network. You know, the people around you, how beautiful people you can create around you. So that is the second law. And third and very important law is, if you want to be a glorified person in the life, okay, or you want to do something amazing, you want to contribute something big. So third law tells it all. See, every action has equal reaction. So no guts, no glory, no legend, no story. Thank you.
So